Chapter 9, Boys Without Names. Chapter 9. 2 days ago, 5 of us arrived from our village. Now there are only 4 of us riding the bus. Every time I think of Baba, my eyes get blurry. Naren and Sita sit quietly across from each other, maybe because they are too timid to call to each other across the aisle. But I don't think so. I think they miss Baba too. I stares down and wipes her cheek. It reminds me of the last evening in our home when Baba brushed off ice tears with his finger. The bus has left the station and rushes through the wide road. I have been watching the road, but I don't think I can remember the way back to the footpath where we spent 2 days. To me, all the streets look the same, even though I notice different shops and different buildings. I try to read the names of the stores as we pass them by, but it is difficult. My stomach wobbles and my head spins. I close my eyes to calm down. I wonder what Jama's home looked like. I think of my friend Mohan's copy of Star Homes magazine. As we thumbed through the pages the first time, we fell silent like people did when they saw the sunset from the Matharan Hills. It had pictures of beautiful houses and beautiful people. As we got more familiar with the picture, we would point and say that we liked and which house we wanted to live in. Later, when the magazine got beat up, Mohan found a plastic bag to store it in. When he showed it to us, he didn't allow us to flip the pages. He did it himself, and we had to point at things from a distance. I see a few buildings that are so tall they look like bridges between the earth and the sky. It would be wonderful if Jama lived in one of those fancy houses, but I don't expect that. I just hope he lives in a nice mud hut like the one we had in the village. It smelled of red earth and stayed cool in the summer. Naren and Sita have not said a word since we left. Are they silent because they're watching all the fancy buildings, people, and shops, or because they're afraid? I can't tell. I don't want to ask them. I don't want to bang pots and wake up the elephant, as I would say. This travel seems easier than I thought. Did Baba have difficulty going to Jama's house? It's true that Baba can't read. Maybe he got on the wrong bus or got off at the wrong stop. It takes an hour to get to Dadar, the closest suburb to Mumbai. Many people get off here. I show the conductor Jama's address. Is this place nearby? I ask. He shakes his head. How do I know? Asks one of the locals. We get off the bus with our luggage. Where do we go? I ask, looking around. You wait here. I will find out. I tell her. The open shops are full of customers and I don't want to wait in a long line to ask shopkeepers for directions. I walk a couple of blocks before I find a man waiting by his motorcycle. I asked him and he says, not from here. Not from here is the answer I got from 2 more people. Finally, I see a corner shop open with the old shopkeeper sitting close to the door. I walk over to him and shows him Jama's address. Go right down this lane. Take the first left and then walk all the way to the end. You will find him in the last shack on the right. Do you know him? I ask. I know everyone who lives in my neighborhood, he says. I thank him and return to where I, Naren, and Sita are waiting. We follow the shopkeeper's directions and take the first left. If the man is right, we are almost at Jama's. But the lane goes on and on. I am carrying the sack with pots and pans and it is heavy and uncomfortable. The jute is rubbing against my fingers and palms, they burn. I can't put the sack down because right in the middle of the lane there is a sewage flowing through an open ditch and a rotting smell rising from it. It is difficult to hurry along while carrying a heavy, clumsy load. The dank air is tough with smells, and it is not the scent of earth, but of rotting food and filth. In the fading light, people slide past, children stare, and snippets of conversations, laughter, and cries spill out from the plastic and tarp-covered shacks. The walls are made of plastered bricks and corrugated metal sheeting. The man at the shop said Jama lives at the end, but there is a bend in the street, so I can't tell how far we have to walk. I hope the shopkeeper is right, because I don't think I can carry the luggage for much longer. Finally, we come to the end. The last shack on the right has light in it. I look at I and nod toward the shack. She hesitates for a moment. That is all it takes for Jama to poke his head out of the door. For a second, Jama has a blank look on his face. But he breaks out in a smile. Radha? He rushed towards her. Radha, is that you? And Gopal, Naren, and Sita? I's answer comes as tears. This is the first time since Baba went missing that she has smiled or cried freely. Jama takes a sack from her hand and puts his other arm around her. Come in, all of you. I put my sack down and look around. A dented, narrow metal cupboard leans on the back wall. In the far corner is a table that has a tall box covered with fabric. I wonder what is under it. There are two chairs and a table in the room, and a sofa that has some springs coming out, but otherwise is in good condition. I sit on it and sink deep. To get up, I will have to put my hands down and push myself up. I wait for I to mention Baba, but it is Naren who asks, "Have you seen Baba, Jama?" With teary eyes and a few sobs, I tell Jama what happened to us while he listens silently. Rather, don't worry, the day is almost over, but tomorrow morning I will go to the police office and file a report. I will also go to Thane and see if he has returned and talk to Grosser and the people by the railway station, Jama says. What if Baba is lost forever? Sita asks. This is a big city, but not endless. Don't worry, we will find him, she nods. We are all quiet. Our fear for Baba has stolen our voices. After a while, Jama speaks. You all must be hungry. I made some spicy potatoes and cauliflower bhaji and bought some bread today, so we can have pav bhaji. We all eat together. The fresh bread is spongy and soft, and the bhaji is spicy and tingles my throat as it goes down. I take a sip of water. It tastes different than the water in our village or by the station, but it doesn't taste bad. I feel strange to have a full stomach. Jama takes two mattresses from a pile on a wooden bench in one corner and spreads them on the floor. They are lumpy and soft. I help I spread sheets on them. She sleeps between the twins, and I stretch out on the other side of Naren. Jama takes the sofa. He has to curl up on it, but he says he's perfectly comfortable. I hope Baba is warm, dry like we are. I wake up in the middle of night, eyes crying. I'm sorry, Radha, Jama says. Tomorrow, I will talk to people around the station, ask the police, and file a missing person report. I will also ask the man at the Deepak food store to watch the station area and give him my work phone number so he can contact me. I don't know how. I mean, what happened? What if we don't find him? The twins, Gopal, me. What will we do? Without their Baba, my children, I'm sure we will find him. After a long silence, I says, I hope so. She has stopped crying, but her voice sounds hollow. I can't go back to sleep, so I lie awake, wondering, what can I do to help? Now the Baba is gone. I must find work soon. The morning comes early with pots banging, children screaming, and people shouting. A voice as irritating as a buffalo grunts fill the air. On the station's footpath, there were traffic noises and blaring horns and drowned out everything else. But here we are little ways from the big street. So why can't I hear birds? I wonder if parrots, sparrows, and pigeons can live in the city. Maybe like people, some of them can. I hope I am the right kind of person to live in the city. A cursing war begins between two men, and it is loud enough to wake up the entire neighborhood. One voice is needle sharp, and the other is well deep. What is it? I ask as she gets up. Nothing, Jama says. Just a couple of regular fightings about whose turn it is to get water first. What do you mean by regulars? People who fight with each other almost every day? But why do they do that? Rather, the water only comes for 2 hours, and sometimes it stops after 1 hour. So everyone is in a hurry to get it. There is enough light coming through one window to see I's face tense up. We will need water too. Come, I will show you where the tap is, Jama says. They carry a pail each to fill the water. I hear the sound of fighting stop. As soon as I and Jama leave, I cover myself with my blanket so I can doze off again. It doesn't work. Soon they came back with pails of water and set them aside of the house that is used as a kitchen. I can make tea while you get more water, I say to Jama. He looked pleased with my offer and shows me how to use the kerosene stove. First, he pumps a piston for a few seconds. As soon as the fuel comes up from the tiny holes on the top, he strikes a match and lights the stove. I make tea for all of us, while Jama and I gets 4 more pails of water to fill the barrel. Let me show you where the latrine is, he says after we drink our tea. In the village, you could walk over to a bushy area and relieve yourself, but here the people all around, and just like at Thane station, I don't see any bathrooms. Jama gives me a tin can full of water and asks me to follow him. He carries a can too. We walk to back of Jama's house onto a dirt path that leads away from the huts. An airplane flies over my head, and I am so absorbed in looking at it, Jama pulls me back. Don't Don't want you to fall into the nala, he says. I don't see any stream of water. What's nala? He points to the white ribbon of scum that meanders down on one side of the road. That is a nala. If you are not careful, you will end up covered with the sewage. It looks so thick and subtle that I can't believe there is water underneath it. I cover my nose with my palm and follow him silently. The open seaway in the middle of all the lanes must flow into this. After a while, I know I'm close to the latrine because it sinks. This was one thing I hadn't thought about when thought of the city. I knew there would be a lot of more people, long lines, noise and traffic, but not the smell. I wonder if you live here, do you get used to it? I don't think I will ever get this stench out of my head. There is a line for two latrines that look like giant wooden boxes with doors, and only adults are standing there. When I see a row of children crouching down outside, I know what I have to do. The city steals any modesty out of you. In the village, you hide behind a bush, a shrub, a stump of dead wood, or even a clump of grass. But here, you are not out in the open. I don't see any women or girls. There must be women's bathroom elsewhere, somewhere else. After his breakfast, Jama takes a bath just outside the kitchen and with his shorts on. The soapy water flows off in the street. Once he is done, he gets ready quickly. Where will I take bath? I ask Jama. Oh, he scans the room. He grabs my hand and says laughingly, Gopal, come, be useful. We hang a sheet on nails around the kitchen floor drain, making a small bath area. After you are all done with your bath, take this curtain out, he tells me. I will. I'm glad Jama has made a small place for bathing, so I don't have to take one outside in the open with so many people watching me. Jama is ready to leave. He walks out the door, stops, turns around and says, Radha, we will find him soon. Oh, she whispers and wipes her tears after he turns around. I help I unpack the two sets and put away my books. She unwraps a cracked mirror and hangs it on a wall. Then she washes the twins' hair and dresses them in their second set of clothes. I take a bath in a tiny stall, but I don't mind. It is better than being at the station after spending 2 days on the footpath. Jama's home feels like a palace, except for the smell. Jama is gone only for an hour before he returns. May I take your umbrella and walk around the neighborhood? I asked him. No, you may not. He opens up his cotton bag and starts to empty it out. Gopal, I bought some second-hand clothes for all of you. Try them and see which ones fits you. If there's things we can use, I can return them right away and they will give me money back. Oh, no wonder Jama wanted me to stay. I find 2 half pants and 3 t-shirts that fit me. Now I have 5 pairs of half pants, 3 t-shirts and 2 shirts altogether. I have never had this many clothes before. There is a raincoat with a hole in the left sleeve, but it comes to mid-calf, so it fits perfectly too. You look good in that bright blue raincoat, I says. I got to the cracked mirror to look, but all I can see is my face. Jama laughs. Here is what you need. He inserts a key, turns it, and flicks open the door of his cupboard. Inside is a big mirror. The only time I have glanced at all of myself is in the lobby of hotel in Mathuran. Naren has put on an orange shirt as bright as the sky at sunset. His hands are lost in the sleeves, and it comes to his knees. It is too big for you, I say. No, it isn't. Naren, you will have to wait until you lose 2 more teeth before you can wear it, Jama says. One of my teeth will fall out soon. Look, I can wiggle it. You don't need to show us, I tell him. There are too many clothes and I like them all, Sita declares. You can't have all of them, I tell her. She rolls her eyes. I know that. I turn to Jama to thank him, but before I do that, he says, I checked with the school here. It started 2 weeks ago, and they're full, but you can start next term. He motions me to the couch. I sit on it and think. Remember, the schools here don't need you. You need them. You can't be bindas, carefree, and go and come as you please. Sanjay? Oh, Jama. I understand and tell him so. Since you are new, you must take an exam so that they can decide which class to put you in. I am impressed by how quickly Jama has bought the clothes and found out about my school. Maybe once I take exams, I will find some work to help him and I. Can we also go to school? Naren asked. Jama put his index finger to his mouth. Wait until I am done. talking with Gopal. I can't help but smile. To be first is like climbing up a coconut tree before anything else, winning a running race, or finishing planting the field while the others are still working. I expect Sita and Naren to pout, but they stand and listen. Maybe they are happy with the new clothes, or maybe they have become patient and are ready for school. Java continues. Gopal, there are classes you should attend to prepare for the school entrance exam. He gives me a pencil. Do you have a notebook? The one you gave me? That is too small, he snaps his finger. No problem. Go to my friend's Chachaji's used paper and cardboard shop. Walk to the end of our lane and turn left. He is at the first corner. Tell him you are my nephew and ask him to give you blank papers. He won't charge you. The way Jama talks about him makes me like Chachaji without meeting him. He seems very generous, but he and I are strangers. How can I ask him for a favor? But I can't mention that to Jama. He had done so much help. He has done so much to help me. As I walk down Jama Street, an idea skips into my brain. I can work to pay for my notebook. Feel better when I reach the shop at the end of the street. When I see the shopkeeper, I realized he is the same man who told me where Jama's house was. I stand to the side while he attends to a customer. 3 kilos, he tells a person as he finishes weighing the stack of magazines. He puts his brass balances on the side, counts the money, and gives the money to the man. Your name is Gopal, right? Chachaji says with a twinkle in his one clear eye. His other eye is clouded with cataract. I know that because my teacher, Mr. Adwale's eyes was cloudy like that before he got a cataract operation. I'm surprised for a moment that he knows my name. Then I realized that Jama must have told him to expect me. Yes, I would like. Do you have some blank paper? Actually, you need a notebook. Let's see how we can manage that. He rummages around. Ah, man. These notebooks just came in. They might have some blank papers. He just searches through the notebooks. If I want to tell him any idea, I have to do it now. Chachaji's, I would like to help you in the shop in exchange for the papers. There, I have said it. Acha, he gives me one-eyed, piercing look and little strong bruise in my stomach. Did I say something wrong? Did I insult him? I'm sure what the right answer is, but I've told him I'm willing to work, so I nod. Can you keep accounts for me? Can you get rid of these pesky flies forever? Can you repair my roof? I can't do any of those things, my heart draws, but his laughter rolls into my silence. Chachaji puts his hand on my shoulder. Gopa, don't be scared. I was teasing you. As you get your notebook ready, you will be helping me. Those words make me feel like someone has handed me a piece of rock sugar. I smiled and bowed. He points at the corner filled with notebooks. Go through them to separate the covers from the pages and stack them up neatly. The blank papers are yours. I climbed up the 3 steps and sit on a low wooden stool. The shop has a different smell to it than Jama's house. It is not foul odor, but it's stuffy and stale. In Jama's house, it is hard to breathe because of the stench. Here, it is hard to breathe because it feels like there isn't enough air. I pick up the notebook. I flip the pages, tearing out the blank ones and ripping off the front and back covers. Most of the notebooks are full. Some already have papers torn out of them. Before me, the previous owners have gone through these notebooks, but I do find a blank pages here and there. I take those that are less than half full too. They're perfectly usable. Sometimes a cover catches my eye and linger on it. There's one of the boy with hair, the color of red berries, looking over a lake. It reminds me of me standing by the pond in my village. I go through all of them, making 3 piles, used paper, blank paper, and covers. When I'm done, I take the stack of blank paper to Chachaji's to make a notebook. He says, Shabash, wonderful work. You have picked out the covers. Have you picked out the covers? I will pick them right now. I tell him I look through the pile of covers once more. There are many I like. The one with 3 puppies, the one with the river flowing through the 2 steep mountains are beautiful. But I chose the one with the boy looking at the sunset on a lake. I can always color the boy's hair dusky black. When I hand Chachaji a pile of papers and a front or back cover, he takes them from my hand, put a rubber band around them, and put them inside. When do you think I can have my notebook? He doesn't answer right away, but his face is soft and friendly. I wait. Come back in 2 hours. His one eye twinkles. As I slowly walk home, an older boy waves at me from across the road. I don't know him, so don't stop. So I didn't stop. I don't know him, so don't stop. He zigzags through the traffic and catches up to me. Tumne Marathi bolta kya? He asks. Oh, I reply in Marathi. Do you know Gangadas Korai? He asks. Not from here. I answer like other people have answered us. Don't you live here? I just moved here. I tell him. From where? He's asking me questions after questions as he talks. I notice that he has a sleek black hair. Each strand seems to have his own assigned place on his head. It's kind of unnatural. Who is he? I am not sure if I should tell him anything. My name is Jatin, he says. Ganga Das is my uncle, and I have been looking for him for 2 days. If I don't find him, I will get Exin se Lafa. He rubs his cheek as if someone has slapped him hard. Why? Because my uncle has promised me a job in his factory. I need money badly. I'm impressed your uncle has a factory. Well, sort of. A small one. Is it around here? Yes, I'm surprised you don't know. I only came here yesterday. I'm sorry, I say, and I started walking. Thanks anyway. His eyes narrow. Your name? Gopal. On the way home, I think about Jatin. He must be around 15 or 16. His clothes were no bad, but he said he needed money. Maybe one of his siblings or parents are sick as he needs money for the medication. He said he would get slapped if he didn't find his uncle. Maybe I will ask Jama if he knows Gangadas Korai. If I see Jatin again, I can help him find his uncle. It is only 10 in the morning, and hissing of stoves escapes from every shack. The smell of spices wafts from the houses and spills out into narrow street, temporarily masking the smell of open sewage. On the lane, some women are washing plastic bags, some are collecting rags from a garbage pile, and a couple of men are pounding a sheet of metal. The kids are playing with balls made of rags. Men hurry along carrying lunch boxes and bags. Everyone is on the move, doing something. I is sitting in front of the stove. In the village, we ate late in the afternoon. Why are you cooking so early? I made Jama's lunch before he left, and I'm making few more rotis for us. I watch Eyes while she flattens a ball of bajra dough into the round roti with her fingertips. Her face is down, but then she lifts it up. I see so much sadness on it that my eyes tear. Oh Gopal, what will we do without your Baba? I miss him so much. Something soft and sad settles in my throat. I want to tell I that he will return soon, but how can I? I know Mumbai is big, but I can't imagine Baba not being able to find us. When we were on the footpath, I worried about getting here. But now, when we have found Jama, she must ache for Baba like I do. I sit by her and take her flower dusted hand in mine. I miss him too. We would have been excited about school. As soon as those words come out, I realize I have given up on his written. I choke up. I squeeze my hand. Without saying it, we both have understood it. When the last bajra roti is done, I ask if I got the notebook. It will be ready soon. I didn't take it for free. I help Chachaji. She touches my cheek with her finger. That way you keep your Samman honor. If I can find some work, I can help Jama. Don't you worry, I will do that. She will have to wait until Naren and Sita are in school to find work. I think of all the money Jama will need to feed us and send us to school. I wonder if I could work in Jatin's uncle's factory until my regular school starts. I have practically a whole term to earn. I just met someone only a few years older than me named Jatin. His uncle has a factory and he's going to work in there. As I'm talking to I think of Jatin's sleek hair. For some strange reason, it makes me uncomfortable. I is watching me. Is something bothering you? Was Jatin rude to you? I washed my hands to get rid of the flower. No, actually, he was friendly, but still, I don't trust him. Maybe because he's a stranger? It is different here, isn't it? Seems like there are so many people, but there isn't enough trust and kindness to go around. I dry my hands with a napkin. Maybe that's it. I washes her hands, but we have found some good people like the porter and the storekeeper. Yes, without them, we would still be on the footpath. I noticed something in a corner, a television. That was a big box I saw last night, but it was covered with a piece of cloth. I couldn't see it. I have never seen I have never been this close to a television. The glass is smooth and dark like a face of pond on a still night. I know that turning knob will bring it to life. Do you think we can watch TV? I asked. Java said we could, but I'm afraid to touch it. I don't want to break such an expensive thing. He has unplugged it because he says in a heavy storm water might seep through these walls. That can be dangerous. When he returns, you can learn how to use it and watch it tomorrow. I finger the knobs. All I have to do is to plug it in and turn the knobs one way or the other. But I don't. I is right. The TV is expensive and I don't want to ruin it. Where are Naren and Sita? I asked. They have found friends and here and are out with them. Is it safe? I think of all the traffic and strangers at the end of the street where Chachaji's shop is. They're right across the lane. I go to the door and look out. Naren and Sita are walking home hand in hand. Everyone went home for lunch. I'm hungry too, Sita says. So we all eat rice, roti, and dudhi bhaji. I also has buttermilk for us, which is the best part of the meal. When we are done eating, it is time for me to go to get my notebook. Outside, the sun is pelting the lane with light and heat. I look for a tree and shade, but there are none. This is a place without trees, without birds, and without a pond. I am sweating by the time I reach Chachaji's shop. He is fanning himself with a folded up newspaper. There are no customers and his eyes are closed. Chachaji, I whisper. Without opening his eyes, he points to a notebook on the floor. All the pages I had torn off are rebound in a new notebook with the front and back covers I had selected. I pick it up and flip the pages. Since the pages come from the different notebooks, they have uneven width and margins. Some pages are so white they hurt my eyes. Others are as soft as the rising moon, and few are as stingy as if they are full of dust on them. It doesn't matter. All I need are empty spaces to fill the words. And do I have a nice pencil? And I do have a nice pencil. Do you like it? Chachaji asked me. How long has he been watching me? I have never had this big a notebook. Study hard, he says. I bow to him. I will. Once more the clouds have started to gather. I hurry back, clutching my notebook. I don't want to drop it on the street and get it muddy. When I get home, the twins are taking a nap, and so is I. I stare at the TV and wonder how, by just flipping a switch, you can see different people. Some of them live so far away that you have to cross oceans to get there. Like stories, it is magical. I am tempted to turn it on, but and bring the other world in. Late that afternoon, the rain comes banging, clanging, and thrashing. It thunders, roars, and pelts the metal roof as if challenging it to a fight. The roofs of our home are in the village was made of grass and palm fronds, and it didn't allow the rain to make noise. The drop fell with a dull thud and ran down the sides. Beside it, never rained this hard in the village. I am glad Jama has unplugged the TV and we are safe. I hoist Naren and Sita onto the mattresses piled on the wooden bench so if the water comes in, they don't get wet. I hand them my deck of cards. Outside, the water has nowhere to go. It gushes down to meet the overflowing sewer. The stink of everything mixes together. Chemicals from tanning hides, melting plastic, people and animal waste and rotting plants. They all mask the heavenly scent of the rain-soaked earth. The entire streets are turned into a filthy nala. My mind wanders back to the village. After a few rains filled the pond, Mohan, Shiva, and I would go to the bank and have jumping competition. We would jump from one of the nimba branches that loomed over the water. 1, 2, 3, the other would shout, and down we would go. I wonder if Naren and Sita will remember our village pond or the wandering goats. Sita and Naren won't be able to splash in the newly refilled pond. They will have memories of the stinking sewer in monsoon. This is not what I thought we were coming to. I miss the village, but if we had stayed there, we would have starved. Here, Jama has good job and has enough food and milk for tea. I will take Naren and Sita back to the village someday, I promise myself. What are you thinking, Gopal? I asked. Nothing. I turned my at, head to look at her. Your hands are curled up into fists, and now you are chewing your lip. Oh, I miss the pond. Gora's chink. And even the muddy field, she sighs. I know. Sita and Naren won't remember at all, will they? They will make their own memories of what? Dead rods floating by? They are not looking out the window. They will remember being perched on a stack of mattresses and playing cards with each other, safe in the house from rain and wind and having warm tea, their I and big brother close by. I's words bring a smile back to my lips. As I watch all the water coming down, I remember how 2 years ago the rain fell on our farm and gave us bumper crops. That's how we ended up here. Baba, Baba, Naren suddenly sobs. Don't cry, Naren. Jama will bring back Baba, right? Sita looks at I and me. I lift Naren up and take him to I. Sita hops down and follows us. Baba will be back soon, I say. I put him on the sofa. It is a lie, but it is the best answer I have, and that's the truth. I hold Naren in her lap. Sita snuggles up to her. I look in the covered pen, sitting in the corner next to the stove. There is enough milk in it. How about some tea? I want Baba, Sita says. Naren sobs get louder. I pace the room, not knowing what to do. Finally, I light the stove, put the water on to boil, and make tea. While we sip the tea, the rain slows down. What if Jama doesn't come back? What will we do? Push the thought away. Jama has lived here for years and must know how to stay safe during monsoon. The sound of the rain dies, but the smell doesn't. In the last day, I have gotten used to strong odor, but this is horrendous. Like a field covered with thousand blooming onions. The storm had moved away, and sun comes out, but outside, the rainwater has mixed with open sewage, forming a dark, steamy stay inside. Sita and Naren play their cards, and I open my notebook. I write my name on the first page. Chataji has made sure that the first page is completely blank. I fixes a hole in the dress Jama bought for Sita yesterday. When she is done, she puts it on, and I can't tell there was a hole. Why, maybe you can fix clothes. You're good at it, I say. Or sew new ones, she says. Will you make a new dress for me? Sita asks trolley. You will need a sewing machine for it. That costs a lot, I tell I. Jama says you can get one on a monthly payment. I want a purple and pink dress, Sita says, climbing onto I's lap. I don't think we should borrow money for anything. We had to run away from our debt. The words come out faster and louder than I expected. We will see, I whispers. I don't know if she's talking to Sita or me. If I has a machine, she can stay home and make money. Maybe I can help her buy one. I must find work. It is late in the evening and Jama is not back. Even though I want to stay up, I'm so tired that I fall asleep before he gets home.